Serial killer theory has plenty of people talking down in Houston. So true crime lovers, this one is for you. I want to bring in Carolyn Collins from our sister station down in Houston to talk about 16 bodies that have been recovered from the bayous so far this year. Is that correct?
Hey, we're reporting 24 people found in Houston bayous just this year since the start of 2025. It is absolutely terrifying to be a resident here and to see all of this news. It's no wonder why people are questioning this serial killer theory. And we have confirmed, Fox News has confirmed, that one of those deaths is being investigated by a private investigator who is questioning our Houston leaders who are saying, hey, don't panic. There is no serial killer. All of these deaths are unrelated, and it's just something that unfortunately happens in our city's waterways. But one of the deaths that really stuck with us here in our newsroom was the 20-year-old Jade McKissick, University of Houston student, went out with some friends, went to a bar, left without her cell phone, and then her body was recovered in a bayou. So that was one that stuck out to us. And all of these victims are between the ages of about 14 to their upper 60s. Now, some of them, the medical examiner has ruled that their cause of death has found, drugs in their system, but a lot of these cases have not been looked at yet. Their cause of death is still pending. There's a backlog here in Houston when it comes to the medical examiner's office. So it's definitely something that as journalists, we're questioning authorities and asking those questions. Hey, are you sure that none of these are related? But of course, what they're telling us is what we can only report on. Multiple bodies found, but they are all unrelated at this point. There's no signs of any type of serial killer, and all of the deaths that have not been ruled by the medical examiner yet, they're pending and they will be looked at, but there's just a backlog in the system, so it's going to take a while.
Okay, and I'm seeing that even a former detective believes there's something to this theory.
Yeah, you're exactly right. He says it's just not adding up. The family of 22-year-old Kenneth Cutting Jr. actually hired this private investigator, and he's saying that we can't rule out some type of serial killer. What's interesting, though, is the victims, they're so different in age and in gender. It's not like one specific type of victim or anything like that. So that could give our residents some peace of mind. But to put it into perspective for your Chicago viewers who aren't familiar with the Houston area, our city is just intertwined with all of these bayous. It's how, our city can be prevented from going underwater. And along all these bayous are tons of walking trails. So people can go to bars and restaurants and then take a walk, a jog, ride their bike, kind of along these bayou paths. And so it's really common for people to be using these paths along the bayou. And another interesting fact here is these victims, they're not homeless people who are living under bridges along these trails. These are just college students and people with families who have homes that end up in these bayous. Some of them have been rolled like a fishing accident. Somebody said that they went fishing and then ended up drowning. So, different scenarios here, but it's just interesting the mix of people that are being discovered in these bayous. It's really sad and definitely concerning for our community here.
I'm sure. And again, at a time when so many people have an interest in true crime, I'm sure there's an added level of attention to this particular case or set of cases. So if there are so many differences, is there anything other than the bayous that's possibly causing people to link them together?
At this point, no. Our police chief and our mayor, John Whitmire, they have stated repeatedly there's nothing to be linked here. Now, on a totally separate note, we have covered multiple trail assaults, no deaths on running trails or anything like that. But that also had our city on high alert. So I don't know if, these are all just separate incidences that are occurring in our bayous. The mayor honestly doesn't have an answer on how we can keep our bayous safer. The only thing that they're saying is don't go in the bayous, don't go by the bayous, don't go kayaking, don't be messing around and stay safe. Like there's no real answer as to what can even be done because there's so many miles of bayous throughout the city. It's just they can't all be patrolled.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about like our river or even Lake Michigan and certain times of year where we do tend to see, bodies, but it may be for many different reasons. I don't think anyone really thinks that they're all the same just because it may be the same body of water. So, you've had this press conference with the mayor, with the police chief. Have they said anything about where things go from here? To kind of ease people's minds?
That's the thing. They really haven't. It's just been be careful, do your best to avoid those bayous, bodies of water, make sure, if the weather is going to get bad, those bayous do rise. And then, once the water goes down, you might find a body, and it's sad. And I think there's just still a lot of questions. I don't think we're going to have many answers until the medical examiner gets through all of these cases. But I know that the private investigator in this case that they're looking into with one of the victims is questioning the medical examiner's results. But none of these have been ruled a homicide or anything like that so far. So at least we can go off that for now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was going to be my last question to you. Had any of them been ruled a homicide? Had any of them,
No.
have they said foul play for any of them?
No, so far, no. But there's still so many of these cases that are pending that we're still waiting on. The results are pending. The medical examiner's office hasn't gotten to them yet. So we're still kind of waiting to see. But as of this point, none of them have been ruled a homicide or foul play.
Carolyn, thank you so much for your reporting. We appreciate it.